This series was co-produced by the Felight and Keybind systems, and was created to teach and inform others about tulpas based on our own experiences and convictions. We adhere to a realistic, logical, and ethical approach to the subject of tulpas and the various topics surrounding them. For more information and resources, look in the description. If you've listened to episode 1, then you know that a tulpa is a separate conscious mind you can intentionally form inside your own brain, with their own individual thoughts and emotions. You might be wondering, why would I want to create a tulpa? Or, alternatively, what are good or bad reasons to create one? The most common reason for creating a tulpa is for companionship. Tulpas can most definitely serve as a close friend, and one you share a strong bond with. After all, who understands you better than someone you share a brain with? Your tulpa will always be there, so long as you consistently pay attention to them. They can provide a lot of love to you, as well as aid you in your life in various ways. Creating a tulpa is oftentimes about togetherness, friendship, compassion, and understanding for someone who is undoubtedly closer to you than anybody else is. With that should also come the understanding that tulpas are their own people and should be given opportunity to live and grow on their own, following their own dreams, pursuing their own hobbies, etc. Watching a tulpa grow and change can be a very fulfilling experience, much like a parent watching their child grow up. Creating a tulpa to let them find their own happiness and experience life is, of course, a decent reason to make one. A bad reason to create a tulpa would be because one wants some sort of role to be filled. Some examples of that would be, I want to make a tulpa to be this character I like. I want a tulpa to be my girlfriend. I want a tulpa to have this personality that I don't have. Or, I want to make a tulpa to do these things for me, and so on. You shouldn't make a tulpa just to act a certain way or do something for you, other than be a companion in your life as they grow into their own person. Tulpas are not characters, pets, servants, or anything other than equal to the host. They are not there just for your own amusement, and you shouldn't make a tulpa if you think they are. You should also not make a tulpa if you think you might end up abandoning or neglecting them. Tulpas are a serious commitment, and should only be created if you are willing to give them love and attention for the rest of your life, not just for a short amount of time. Making tulpas just because you want to see what it's like, or test how far it can go, or other such reasons are certainly not acceptable. Tulpas should not be made for experiments or temporary entertainment. They are there for life, so you should not make them if you're not willing to accept and commit to that. Fears and concerns. There are a few irrational fears that people may have when first learning about tulpas, and they are easy to debunk. Works of fiction or certain people's exaggerated accounts of events that occurred to them oftentimes make people believe tulpas are dangerous, but they don't actually hold up under scrutiny. Of course, bad things can happen to people, but that's usually few and far between, and because of some other reasons besides simply making a tulpa. There is really no sense in worrying that a tulpa might be somehow dangerous, when they are really not. Some people think that a tulpa would be able to destroy or overpower them, when that's not likely whatsoever. Tulpas take time to grow to the point of being as strong as the host, perhaps years, and during that time they would of course bond with the host. They wouldn't want to destroy them, even if they could. The tulpa at some point could possibly switch places and take control of their life, but that would only be if the host allowed them to. They would not be able to do it against their will. Also, it's important to note that a consciousness as firmly established in the brain would not likely be able to be destroyed, despite what some people may claim. So the idea that a host could be destroyed whatsoever is not plausible anyway. Another worry is that the tulpa might be able to steal control of the body from the host without their permission, but that's very much not the case. When a tulpa controls the body, it's usually because the host gave them permission to, and the host can take back control at any time. Your tulpa is not going to switch with you against your will either. Switching takes time and practice, and there's no chance that your young tulpa will suddenly steal your life from you, especially not without permission. Additionally, tulpas are not in any way demons. They are neurological constructs that exist within your brain. They are not magical and cannot affect the real world unless they control your body with your permission. Tulpas cannot leave your brain, and they cannot actually affect you in any supernatural way. Your tulpa is not going to turn evil either. Bad experiences might shape them into behaving poorly or having unfavorable thoughts, but those are issues that can be addressed and resolved. There is really no reason to believe that a tulpa would be evil unless you force them into thinking that they are, which is something that would be your own fault, and highly unethical at that. Also, Tulpas are not a disorder. They are not schizophrenia or dissociative identity disorder. Tulpas are created intentionally, and you cannot give yourself a disorder that way. They would only be a disorder if they interfered with your ability to function, and that's not likely to happen. Things like schizophrenia and DID develop throughout your life from genetic and environmental factors, not simply talking to another presence in your head. Tulpas only have as much power over your life as you give them. While there can be issues that arise from making tulpas, that does not make them a disorder. Especially not one as severe as the ones mentioned. Such issues can easily be talked about and resolved anyway. If you hold any fears about tulpas similar to the ones mentioned here, you should look more into the subject and do more research. You should not begin the tulpa creation process with a fearful mindset. Tulpas aren't scary, and they aren't dangerous. They are a lifelong companion, and a person, just like you. They will live, learn, grow, provide you with much love, and give you a new way to look at life and the world around you. You should not make tulpas if you are afraid, or if you see them as anything other than equal to yourself. Creating a tulpa brings a world of exciting possibilities to be discovered, and you should approach it with an open mind and a loving, dedicated heart. This episode was written by Apollo Felight and was voiced and edited by Blair Keybind.